Marcus Chun stood in the center of the training hall. His heart was beating fast. Around him, 200 alien cadets were staring at him. Some were laughing. Some were whispering. Marcus was the only human in the entire Galactic Defense Academy. The academy was on Station Prometheus 7. It was the biggest military training station in the galaxy. Marcus looked down at his right arm. There was a tattoo on his forearm. It was glowing very softly. The tattoo showed strange symbols and patterns. None of the aliens knew what it meant, but they would find out soon. Very soon, Commander Vex walked into the hall. He was a tall reptilian alien with red scales and cold yellow eyes. He was holding a data pad. He began reading the safety protocols. Rule 1. Always check your equipment before training. Rule 2. Never ignore emergency alarms. Rule 3. Follow evacuation procedures exactly. There were 47 rules in total. Commander Vex finished reading. He looked at all the cadets. Then he said something that changed everything. He said these rules keep you alive. Break them and you die. The training began the next day. Marcus checked his spacesuit 3 times. He tested his oxygen levels. He secured every lock on his helmet. The other cadets watched him. A blue-skinned alien named Zrask started laughing. He said, "Look at the human. So scared. So weak." Another alien named Thela joined in. She said humans always follow rules like frightened children. A third alien named Corinne said maybe humans are not meant for real combat. All around the hall, aliens were laughing at Marcus. But Marcus said nothing. He just continued his safety checks. His tattoo glowed a little brighter. Days passed. Marcus followed every single rule perfectly. He double-checked everything. He never skipped any safety step. The other aliens continued to mock him. They started breaking small rules on purpose. Zrask skipped his equipment check to save time. Thela ignored a minor alarm during practice. Corin entered a restricted zone. Without permission, nothing bad happened to them. So they laughed even more at Marcus. They thought he was foolish. They thought he was weak. They did not know the truth. That tattoo on Marcus' arm was not just a decoration. It was earned in blood. It was earned in the deadliest war humanity ever fought. And very soon these aliens would learn why humans never ever break the rules. 1 week later, everything changed. It started with a sound. A loud, piercing alarm echoed through the entire station. Red lights began flashing everywhere. The station AI voice announced red level emergency. But the aliens had heard alarms before during drills. So most of them ignored it. Zrask yawned and said another boring drill. Thela kept talking to her friends. Corinne did not even look up, but Marcus stopped moving. His face became very serious. His tattoo started glowing brighter than ever before. He knew something the others did not know. This was not a drill. This was real. And everyone who ignored the protocols was about to face death. In Part 1, aliens mocked Marcus for following every safety rule. They laughed at him. They called him weak. But when the red alert sounded, Marcus knew the truth. This was not a drill. This was real danger. And his tattoo was glowing bright blue. The alarm kept screaming through the station. Red lights flashed in every corridor. The station AI repeated the same message. Red level emergency. All personnel evacuate to safe zones immediately. But the alien cadets were not moving. They stood in the training hall, talking and laughing. Zrask said this is the 5th drill this month. Thela agreed and said the academy just wants to test us. Corinne yawned and stretched his arms. Around them, 100 other cadets were also ignoring the alarm. They thought it was just another boring practice evacuation. Marcus was different. He grabbed his emergency kit from his locker. He checked his oxygen mask. He activated his wrist communicator. Then he looked at his tattoo. The blue glow was getting brighter every second. The tattoo was not just a mark. It was also a piece of advanced biotechnology. It connected directly to his nervous system. Right now it was telling him something very bad. The reactor core in Section 9 was failing. He could feel it through the tattoo. The technology was reading the station emergency systems. Marcus had less than 30 minutes before the entire station exploded. He turned to the other cadets. He shouted, "Listen to me. This is not a drill. The reactor is failing. We need to evacuate right now. But nobody listened. Zrask laughed at him again. He said the scared human thinks he knows better than us. Thela rolled her eyes. She said, Marcus, you are always so paranoid about rules. Corinne made a joke about humans being afraid of their own shadows. The other aliens laughed. They did not believe Marcus. They did not take him seriously. Then the station shook. It was a violent shake that threw several cadets to the floor. The lights flickered. Sparks flew from a control panel on the wall. The laughter stopped immediately. Fear appeared on every alien face. The station AI voice changed. It became more urgent. It said, critical reactor failure in Section 9. Quantum containment breach detected. Radiation levels rising. All personnel follow evacuation protocol Alpha 9 immediately. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Panic exploded in the training hall. Aliens started running in every direction. Some ran toward the main corridor. Some ran toward the emergency exits. Some just stood frozen in fear. Nobody knew what to do. Nobody had actually studied Protocol Alpha 9. They all thought safety rules were stupid and boring. Now, they were paying the price for their ignorance. Zrask was shouting, where do we go? Thela was crying and saying we are all going to die. Corinne was running in circles, completely lost. Marcus stayed calm. His tattoo was now glowing, so bright it lit up the dark corner where he stood. He closed his eyes for 3 seconds. He remembered his training from the Human Krell War. He remembered Protocol Alpha 9 perfectly. He had read the station safety manual 3 complete times. He knew exactly what to do. He knew exactly where to go. He opened his eyes and his voice cut through the chaos like a knife. He shouted, everyone stop running and listen to me right now. Something in his voice made everyone freeze. It was not the voice of a scared cadet anymore. It was the voice of a trained soldier. It was the voice of someone who had survived real combat. 15 aliens turned to look at Marcus. His tattoo was pulsing with blue light. His face was completely calm. He said, if you want to live, you follow me exactly. No questions. No arguments. You do exactly what I say when I say it. Do you understand? The aliens nodded. They were too scared to argue now. Zrask asked, what do we do? Marcus pointed to the east corridor. He said we go through Section 5, then Section 3, then to Emergency Bay 2. We have 24 minutes before this station explodes. Anyone who breaks formation or ignores my instructions will die. Now move. Marcus started running. The 15 aliens followed him. His tattoo was not just glowing now. It was also projecting a faint holographic map in front of his eyes. Only he could see it. The tattoo was showing him the safest path through the failing station. Every turn, every door, every danger zone. This was the power of the warrior tattoo. This was why only elite human soldiers earned the right to wear it. And the aliens were about to learn that humans do not follow rules out of fear. Humans follow rules because rules are written in the blood of everyone who died by ignoring them. In part, too, the station reactor was failing. Aliens who mocked Marcus now followed him through the dark corridors. His tattoo glowed bright blue, showing the way. But none of them knew what the tattoo really meant. They were about to find out. Marcus ran through the east corridor with 15 aliens behind him. The station shook again. Pipes burst overhead, spraying hot steam. Emergency lights flickered on and off. Marcus dodged left then, right then left again. His movements were perfect. He knew where every danger was before it happened. The tattoo on his arm was feeding information directly into his brain. Temperature readings, structural damage reports, radiation levels, safe routes, danger zones, everything. Zrask was running right behind Marcus. He shouted, how do you know where to go? Marcus did not answer. He was too focused. They reached the sealed security door. It was locked. Red text flashed on the screen. It said Section 5 compromised. Access denied. The other aliens started to panic again. Thela said we are trapped. Corinne said we're going to die here. But Marcus stayed calm. He pressed his tattoo against the door scanner. The tattoo pulsed once, twice, 3 times. Then the door opened. The aliens stared in shock. They ran through Section 5. It was filled with smoke and sparks. Marcus led them around collapsed beams and broken floor panels. Not a single alien got hurt. They reached another door. Marcus opened it the same way with his tattoo. They entered Section 3. This section was darker. The power was completely gone. But Marcus' tattoo now glowed, so bright it worked like a flashlight. The aliens could see the path clearly. They followed him through the darkness. Thela finally asked the question everyone was thinking. She said, "Marcus, what is that thing on your arm?" Marcus stopped for a second. He looked at his tattoo. Then he looked at the terrified aliens around him. He decided they deserved to know the truth. He said, "This is not just a tattoo. This is a protocol mark. Only human soldiers who survived the Krell War can wear it." The aliens had heard stories about the Krell War. It was the most brutal conflict in human history. The Krell were an alien race that used chaos as a weapon. They would sabotage systems. They would create confusion. They would make humans panic and make mistakes. Thousands of human soldiers died in that war, not from Krell weapons, but from their own mistakes, from broken protocols, from ignored safety rules. Marcus continued talking as they walked. He said in the Krell War, human commanders learned something terrible. The only squads that survived were the ones who followed perfect protocol. Every single time. No exceptions. No shortcuts. Marcus' voice became quieter. He said my squad was called Protocol Unit 7. We were 40 soldiers at the start of the war. We had one rule. Follow every protocol perfectly no matter what. When chaos happened around us, we stayed calm. When systems failed, we knew backup procedures. When others panicked, we executed our training. He paused. He touched his tattoo gently. He said by the end of the war, only 8 of us survived. We earned these marks. Each symbol on this tattoo represents a mission where perfect protocol saved our lives. Zrask looked at the tattoo closely now. It had dozens of tiny symbols and patterns. Each one was a story. Each one was a life or death moment. Marcus said, but this tattoo is not just metal. Human scientists built biotechnology into it. It connects to my nervous system. It connects to any military computer system. During emergencies, it activates automatically. It shows me evacuation routes. It gives me access to emergency overrides. It keeps me calm when everyone else panics. That is why I knew this was not a drill. That is why I know where to go. That is why you are still alive. The aliens were silent now. They finally understood. Marcus was not a scared cadet. He was a war veteran. He was an elite soldier. All this time, they thought he was weak for following rules. But the truth was the opposite. Following rules took more strength and discipline than they could imagine. Breaking rules was easy. Any fool could ignore safety protocols. But following them perfectly, especially when your life depended on it, that required real courage. The station shook violently again. This time, chunks of the ceiling fell down. Marcus' tattoo turned from blue to yellow. That meant danger was increasing. He said we have 18 minutes left. Emergency Bay 2 is 3 corridors away. Stay close to me. Do not touch anything. Do not stop for any reason. The aliens nodded. They trusted him completely now. They ran through 2 more corridors. Marcus' tattoo kept glowing and pulsing. It was working harder now, calculating, adjusting routes, avoiding new danger zones. They reached the final corridor. At the end of it was Emergency Bay 2. The shuttles were there. Safety was there. Survival was there. The aliens started running faster. Relief filled their faces. They were going to make it. They were going to live. But then they reached the bay doors. The doors were open. Marcus stopped suddenly. His tattoo turned bright red. That was combat mode. That was the color that meant immediate danger. The 15 aliens stopped behind him. They looked into the emergency bay. Their hearts sank. All 6 emergency shuttles were gone. The bay was empty. Someone had already taken all the escape vehicles. Corinne whispered, "We are too late." Thela started crying again. Then they heard a voice. A cold, cruel voice. Commander Vex stepped out from behind a control panel. His yellow eyes gleamed with satisfaction. He said, "Foolish cadets. Did you really think I would wait for you? I followed the most important rule of all. Save yourself first. Behind him, the last shuttle was preparing to launch. Vex and his 3 personal guards were leaving. They were abandoning everyone else. Marcus' tattoo burned bright red on his arm. The light filled the entire bay. Something changed in Marcus' face. The calm soldier disappeared. Something older, something harder, something dangerous took its place. The aliens behind him took a step back. They suddenly realized something terrifying. They had only seen Marcus follow rules and stay calm. They had never seen what he could do when someone broke the most sacred rule of all, the rule that said never abandon your people in an emergency. Marcus revealed the truth about his warrior tattoo. He led 15 aliens to the emergency bay. But Commander Vex had taken all the shuttles. He was abandoning everyone to die. Now Marcus' tattoo burned bright red. Combat mode was activated. The warrior was awake. Marcus stood completely still. His breathing slowed down. His heart rate dropped. The tattoo on his arm was not just glowing anymore. It was pulsing like a heartbeat. Red light filled the bay. Commander Vex laughed. He said, "You are too late, human. My shuttle leaves in 2 minutes. You and these foolish cadets will die here. Enjoy your precious protocols in the afterlife." His 3 guards laughed with him. They thought they were safe. They thought wrong. Marcus spoke. His voice was different now. It was cold. It was calm. It was absolutely terrifying. He said, "Commander Vex, you have violated Protocol 7, Section 3. The rule states clearly, in critical emergencies, no personnel will abandon other personnel regardless of rank or circumstance. You are in violation of galactic military law." Vex stopped laughing. He said, "I do not care about your human laws. I am leaving and you cannot stop me." Marcus took 1 step forward. Just 1 step. But something about that step made everyone in the bay freeze. It was the step of a predator. It was the step of someone who had killed before. The tattoo pulsed faster. Symbols on his arm started rearranging themselves. New patterns formed. Combat patterns. Strike patterns. Kill patterns. Marcus said, "You are correct about one thing, Commander. I am human, and humans do not abandon their people." Then Marcus moved. He moved so fast the aliens could barely see it. 1 second he was standing 10 meters away. The next second he was directly in front of Vex. His fist struck Vex in the chest. Not hard enough to kill, but hard enough to knock the air from his lungs. Vex collapsed to the floor, gasping. The 3 guards reached for their weapons, but Marcus was already moving again. He grabbed the first guard wrist and twisted. The weapon fell. He swept the guard legs and dropped him. Second guard tried to grab Marcus from behind. Marcus ducked and struck upward with his elbow. The guard fell unconscious. Third guard was smarter. He stepped back and aimed his weapon carefully. But Marcus' tattoo had already calculated the angle and trajectory. Marcus dove left, rolled, came up behind the guard. 1 strike to the neck pressure point. The guard dropped. The 15 alien cadets stood frozen in shock. 5 seconds ago, their quiet rule, following classmate, was a normal cadet. Now he was standing over 4 defeated opponents. He had not even broken a sweat. Zrask whispered, "What are you?" Marcus did not answer. He walked to the shuttle control panel. He pressed his tattoo against the scanner. The tattoo pulsed and sent override codes directly into the system. The shuttle that Vex was trying to steal powered down. Then Marcus accessed the emergency shuttle recall program. All 6 shuttles that Vex had sent away received return commands. They would come back, but that would take 4 minutes. Marcus checked his tattoo display. 14 minutes until reactor explosion. He did the math in his head. 6 shuttles returning in 4 minutes. Each shuttle holds 5 people maximum. 15 aliens plus Marcus equals 16 people. 3 shuttles needed. Load time 2 minutes. Flight time to minimum safe distance 7 minutes. Total time 13 minutes. They would make it with 1 minute to spare. But then Marcus remembered something. His tattoo showed him the station map. Section D still had life signs. 3 people were trapped there. Junior engineers who were doing maintenance when the emergency started. Marcus stood still for a long moment. His tattoo showed him 2 options. Option 1. Take the 15 aliens and himself to safety. Survival rate 98%. Option 2. Go to Section D. Rescue 3 trap engineers. Return to Bay. Evacuate everyone. Survival rate 62%. For Marcus, there was no choice. Protocol for Section 1 stated clearly, all personnel must be rescued during evacuation. No exceptions. He turned to Zrask. He said the shuttles will return in 3 minutes. When they arrive, take everyone to minimum safe distance. Do not wait for me. Zrask's eyes went wide. He said, wait for you. Where are you going? Marcus started walking toward the corridor. He said, 3 people are trapped in Section D. I am going to get them. Thelis shouted, that is, on the other side of the station. You will never make it back in time. Marcus kept walking. He said, probably not, but I have to try. Corinne ran in front of Marcus and blocked his path. He said, you saved us. You brought us here. You defeated Vex. You called the shuttles back. You did everything right. Now save yourself. Marcus looked at Corinne. For the first time, the alien saw something in Marcus' eyes. It was not anger. It was not fear. It was something deeper. It was purpose. Marcus said, I earned this tattoo by making a promise. The promise was simple. Never again. Never let people die, because protocol was broken. Those 3 engineers in Section D did not break any rules. They were just doing their jobs. They deserved to be saved. Zrask said, but you will die. Marcus smiled. It was a sad smile. He said, maybe, but that is what protocol warriors do. We follow the rules even when it costs us everything. Because rules are not about being afraid. Rules are about caring if other people live or die. He pushed past Corinne gently. His tattoo was showing him the fastest route to Section D. 12 minutes until explosion. Section D was 8 minutes away at full sprint. That left 4 minutes to free the trapped engineers and get back to the bay. It was almost impossible. Almost. Marcus started running. The 15 aliens watched him disappear into the dark corridor. His tattoo glowed red in the darkness like a small star. Then it was gone. Thelis started crying. She said, he is going to die because of us. Because we broke the rules. Because we did not take this seriously. Zrask punched the wall. He said we mocked him. We called him weak. But he is the strongest person here. Corinne fell to his knees. He said, and now he is going to die, saving people he does not even know. The shuttles arrived. The aliens loaded into 3 of them. They sat in silence. Every second felt like an hour. The station was shaking constantly now. Explosions echoed from deep inside the structure. 10 minutes until total meltdown. Then 9 minutes. Then 8. Zrask was piloting the lead shuttle. His hand hovered over the launch button. He was supposed to leave. Marcus told him to leave. But he could not do it. He could not abandon the human who saved all of them. 7 minutes left. Then 6. Still no sign of Marcus. Thelis said we have to go. If we stay, we all die. Zrask did not move. He said, I am not leaving him. Corinne said, neither am I. The other 12 aliens agreed. They would wait. 5 minutes left. The reactor was screaming now. Radiation alarms were blaring. For minutes. 3 minutes. Then suddenly a figure appeared in the corridor. It was Marcus. He was carrying 2 small aliens on his back. A 3rd alien was limping beside him. All 3 were junior engineers. Marcus' face was covered in burns. His uniform was torn. His tattoo was flickering. The steady red glow was becoming weak. Marcus collapsed at the shuttle entrance. Zrask and Corinne jumped out and pulled him inside. They pulled the 3 engineers inside too. The moment everyone was in, Zrask hit the launch button. All 3 shuttles blasted away from the station at maximum speed. 2 minutes left. 1 minute. 30 seconds. The shuttles were still accelerating, still trying to reach minimum safe distance. 10 seconds. 5. Then the entire station exploded behind them. The blast wave hit the shuttles and sent them spinning. But they were just far enough away. They survived. Marcus went back into the exploding station. He saved 3 trapped engineers. He got everyone to the shuttles. The station exploded behind them. They survived. But Marcus was badly hurt. His skin was covered in burns. His tattoo was flickering and dying. The warrior had saved everyone, but at a terrible cost. The 3 shuttles docked at the nearest medical station. It was called Mercy Point. It was a small station with only basic medical facilities. Alien doctors rushed to help everyone. The 15 cadets were fine, just scared and shaken. The 3 engineers Marcus saved had broken bones and minor burns. They would recover. But Marcus was different. When the doctors saw him, they stopped talking. One doctor was a tall insect-like alien named Churk. She scanned Marcus with her medical device. Her face changed. She said, "Get him to emergency surgery right now." They put Marcus on a floating stretcher. Zrask tried to follow. A nurse stopped him. She said, "You cannot come with us." Zrask pushed past her. He said, "I am not leaving him." Thela and Corinne followed. The nurse tried to stop them again, but Churk said let them stay. They earned the right to be here. The cadets followed Marcus into the medical bay. They watched as doctors connected him to machines, tubes, monitors, life support systems. Everything was beeping and flashing. Churk examined Marcus' tattoo closely. The bright red glow was gone. Now it was just black, dead, burned out. She touched it carefully and shook her head. She said, "This is not just a regular tattoo. This is military-grade biotechnology." It was keeping him alive during the radiation exposure, but it burned itself out to protect him. Without it, his body is shutting down. Zrask asked, "Can you save him?" Churk did not answer. That silence was worse than any words. Hours passed. The cadets sat outside the medical bay. None of them left. None of them spoke. They just waited. Other aliens from the academy started arriving. They heard what happened. They heard how Marcus saved everyone. They heard how he went back for 3 people he did not even know. More and more cadets filled the waiting area. Soon there were 50 aliens sitting in silence. Then 70. Then 100. All of them waiting for news about the human, who taught them what real strength meant. Commander Vex was arrested. Galactic military police took him away in chains. He would face trial for abandoning personnel during an emergency. His career was over. His reputation was destroyed. But none of the cadets cared about that. They only cared about Marcus. 12 hours passed. Then 18. Then 24. Finally, Churk came out of the medical bay. Every alien stood up at once. Their faces were desperate, hopeful, terrified. Churk looked exhausted. She said, "He is alive." But barely. Relief flooded through the waiting area. But then Churk continued. She said the radiation damage is severe. His internal organs are failing. We stabilize him for now, but we do not have the medical technology here to fully heal him. He needs a level 5 medical facility. The nearest one is 3 days away. Zrask said we survived 3 days. Churk hesitated. She said, "I do not know. His body is strong. Stronger than any human I have ever seen. But even strong bodies have limits." Thela asked, "Can we see him?" Churk nodded. She said he is awake, but only for short moments, and only a few visitors at a time. Zrask, Thela, and Corinne entered the medical bay first. Marcus was lying on a bed surrounded by machines. His skin was pale. His breathing was weak, but his eyes were open. When he saw them, he tried to smile. It was a small, weak smile, but it was real. Zrask walked to the bed. His voice was shaking. He said, "Marcus, I am sorry. We mocked you. We called you weak. We broke all the rules. And you almost died because of us." Tears ran down his blue face. Thela was crying too. She said we did not deserve to be saved. We were foolish and arrogant. Corinne could barely speak. He said, "Why did you come back for us?" Marcus was quiet for a long moment. His voice was very soft, almost a whisper. He said, "You asked me why I came back. The answer is simple. You did not know better. But I did." He paused to catch his breath. The machines around him beeped faster. He continued. He said, "In the Krell War, I learned something terrible. When you break safety rules, you do not just kill yourself. You kill everyone who tries to save you." His eyes became distant, like he was looking at something far away, something from his past. He said, "My squad protocol unit 7 started with 40 soldiers. We followed every rule perfectly, but we worked with other squads, other units. Many of them thought rules were stupid. They took shortcuts. They ignored warnings. One day we were on a joint mission. A soldier from another squad disabled a safety lock because it was too slow. He thought he was being efficient. That one broken rule caused a chain reaction. Marcus' voice became even quieter. The cadets leaned closer to hear. He said the facility we were in started collapsing. My squad knew the evacuation protocol. We got out, but the other squad panicked. They ran the wrong way. They got trapped. My commander ordered us to go back and save them. We followed orders. We went back in. Marcus stopped. His breathing became harder. A tear rolled down his face. He said we lost 22 soldiers that day. 22 members of Protocol Unit 7 died, saving people who broke the rules. The room was completely silent, except for the beeping machines. Marcus continued. He said I survived, but I had to watch my friends die. I had to watch them crushed and burned and buried because someone else thought rules did not matter. After that day, the survivors made a promise. We said never again. Never let others die because of broken rules. That is why we earned these tattoos. That is why we follow protocol, no matter what. He looked directly at Zrask, then at Thela, then at Corinne. He said, "You asked why I came back for you. Because you are not bad people. You are just young. You did not understand. But now you do. Now you know that rules are not about control or fear. Rules are about love. Rules mean I care if you live or die. Every safety protocol is written in the blood of someone who died. When you follow those rules, you honor their memory. You make sure they did not die for nothing." Zrask fell to his knees beside the bed. He said, "I will never break another rule again. I promise." Thela grabbed Marcus' hand gently. She said, "We will make sure everyone knows what you taught us." Corinne said, "You are the greatest warrior we have ever met." Marcus smiled again, that same small, weak smile. He said, "I am not a great warrior. I am just someone who learned an expensive lesson, and I do not want anyone else to pay that price." Churik entered the room. She said, "That is enough. He needs rest." The 3 cadets started to leave, but Marcus called out one more time. He said, "Wait." They turned back. Marcus said one more thing. "Following rules is not easy. People will mock you. They will call you afraid. They will say you are weak. But you must be strong enough to follow the rules anyway. That is real courage, not breaking rules. Following them even when it is hard." The cadets left the room. Outside, more than 100 aliens were waiting. They all wanted to see Marcus, to thank him, to apologize. But Churik only allowed 3 visitors at a time. All through the day and night, aliens came to see the human warrior. Each one left with tears in their eyes. Each one made the same promise. To follow every protocol, to honor every rule, to never forget what Marcus taught them. 3 days later, a massive medical ship arrived. It was from Earth. The human military had heard what happened. They sent their best doctors and their most advanced equipment. Marcus was transferred to the ship. As they carried him out on the stretcher, every single alien in the station stood at attention. More than 500 people. Cadets, instructors, staff, medical personnel, everyone. They formed 2 lines, creating a path of honor. As Marcus passed between them, every alien saluted. It was the highest sign of respect in the galaxy. Marcus was too weak to salute back, but he saw them. He saw how they stood tall, how they honored him. And for the first time since the Krell War, Marcus felt something he thought he had lost forever. He felt that his friend's sacrifice meant something, that the 22 soldiers who died had not died in vain, because now hundreds of aliens understood. Now they would carry the message forward. Now they would teach others. The rules would be followed. Lives would be saved. His friends would be remembered. Marcus was taken to a human medical ship. He was badly hurt from saving 18 lives. The aliens he saved stood at attention as he left. They saluted him with tears in their eyes. Now the final chapter begins. The chapter that changes everything. The human medical ship was called Hope's Dawn. It had the most advanced healing technology in the galaxy. Doctors worked on Marcus for 6 days straight. They repaired his damaged organs. They healed his radiation burns. They rebuilt his destroyed tissue. On the 7th day, Marcus opened his eyes. He was alive. The doctors said it was a miracle, but the head doctor said something else. She said, "Marcus, you should have died 3 times during surgery. Your body refused to give up. That is not medical science. That is pure will to live." Back at Mercy Point Station, the aliens were changing. Zrast became a completely different person. He studied every single safety protocol in the Academy database. He memorized evacuation procedures. He practiced emergency drills. Other cadets saw him and started doing the same. Thiela created a study group. 20 cadets joined, then 50, then 100. They met every evening to review protocols together. Corinne did something even more powerful. He started telling Marcus' story to every new cadet who arrived at the academy. 3 weeks after the station explosion, Marcus was strong enough to walk again. The doctors said he could return to the academy. A transport ship brought him back to Prometheus 7. The station had been rebuilt. New reactor. New safety systems. Everything was better now. When Marcus shuttle docked at the academy, something unexpected happened. Every single cadet was waiting for him. All 200 aliens. They stood in perfect formation. When Marcus walked out, they did not cheer. They did not shout. They just stood at attention, in complete silence. It was more powerful than any celebration. Commander Zek was the new academy leader. She was a wise 4-armed alien with silver skin. She walked up to Marcus and saluted. She said, "Cadet Marcus Chin, on behalf of the Galactic Defense Academy, I apologize. We failed you. We created a culture where rules were mocked and safety was ignored. Because of that failure, you almost died." She paused. Her voice became stronger. She said, "But because of your sacrifice, everything has changed. You taught us what we should have taught from the beginning. That protocol saved lives. That rules matter. That discipline is strength." She gestured to all the cadets behind her. She said, "Every single student here has passed the new mandatory protocol exam. Every single one can recite evacuation procedures from memory. Every single one understands why safety rules exist. You did this, Marcus. You changed an entire generation of warriors." Marcus did not know what to say. He just nodded quietly. Commander Zek said, "There is one more thing." She pulled out a small box. Inside was a medal. It was made of a strange metal that glowed softly. She said, "The Galactic Council has created a new honor. It is called the Protocol Medal. You are the first person to receive it." She pinned the medal on Marcus' uniform. Then something amazing happened. All 200 cadets reached into their pockets. Each one pulled out a small strip of cloth. They tied the cloths around their right arms, in the exact place where Marcus wore his tattoo. The cloths had words written in human language, words that Marcus had taught them. The words said, "Rules are written in blood." Zrask stepped forward. He said, "We cannot earn warrior tattoos like yours. We did not survive the Krell War. We are not elite human soldiers, but we can honor what you taught us. These armbands are our promise. Our promise to follow every protocol. Our promise to never let anyone die because of broken rules." Tears filled Marcus' eyes. He tried to speak, but could not find words. "Thiela said you told us that your friends from Protocol Unit 7 did not die in vain. You were right, because now 200 aliens carry their memory. Now 200 warriors will teach others what you taught us. Your friends live on through all of us." Marcus finally spoke. His voice was thick with emotion. He said, "Thank you. That is all I ever wanted. For their sacrifice to mean something." The semester continued. Marcus became an instructor, even though he was still technically a cadet. He taught a class called Advanced Protocol Studies. Every single cadet in the academy took his class. He did not teach fancy combat moves. He did not teach weapon systems. He taught how to read safety manuals carefully, how to remember evacuation procedures, how to stay calm during emergencies, how to check equipment properly. The other instructors thought it would be a boring class. They were wrong. It became the most popular class in the academy. Marcus taught them stories from the Krell War. He told them about the 22 soldiers who died. He explained how each death happened because of one small broken rule. He made the lessons real and personal. The cadets listened to every word. They took notes. They asked questions. They practiced the protocols until they were perfect. Some cadets said, "Marcus, you make safety sound like poetry." He replied, "Safety is poetry. It is the poetry of life. Every rule is a verse written by someone who died. When you follow those rules, you recite their poem. You keep their memory alive." Months passed. The academy held its graduation ceremony. 50 cadets were graduating that day. Marcus was not one of them. He still had a year of training left. But he attended the ceremony as an honored guest. Commander Zek gave a speech. She said this graduating class is different from every class before them. They are the first generation to truly understand what it means to be a warrior. Being a warrior is not about strength or weapons or victory. Being a warrior is about discipline, about following a hard path, even when the easy path is right there, about protecting others, even at cost to yourself. She pointed to Marcus in the audience. She said, "We have this human to thank for teaching us that lesson." The graduating cadets stood and saluted Marcus. The crowd erupted in applause. Marcus stood and saluted back. After the ceremony, many graduates came to talk to him. One graduate was an alien named Vree. He said, "Marcus, I have a confession. I was one of the cadets who mocked you most. I called you weak every single day. I am ashamed of who I was, but I am proud of who I became because of you." Marcus shook his hand. He said, "We all start somewhere. What matters is where we end up." 1 year later, it was Marcus' turn to graduate. But something unusual happened. The Galactic Council sent representatives to attend his graduation. They announced that Marcus was being promoted directly to instructor rank. They said his service to the Academy was too valuable. He would stay and teach future generations. Marcus accepted the honor. For the next 5 years, Marcus taught protocol studies to thousands of cadets. His reputation spread across the galaxy. Other military academies requested his teaching materials. His methods became standard training everywhere. 10 years after the station explosion, Marcus was now a senior instructor. His class had trained over 3,000 cadets. Those cadets went on to serve in fleets across the galaxy, and every single one of them carried the lessons he taught. They followed protocols perfectly. They stayed calm in emergencies. They never abandoned their people. Marcus received reports from across the galaxy, reports of evacuations executed perfectly, of disasters avoided because someone followed procedure, of lives saved because a young officer remembered their training. Each report made Marcus smile. Each report proved that his friends from Protocol Unit 7 did not die in vain. On the 10th anniversary of the station explosion, the Academy held a special ceremony. They built a memorial in the main hall. It was a wall made of dark stone. On the wall were carved the names of the 22 soldiers from Protocol Unit 7 who died in the Krell War. Above their names was an inscription. It said these warriors gave their lives so others could learn. Honor them by following every rule. Below the names was a quote from Marcus. It said, "Rules are not chains. Rules are wings. They lift us above chaos and carry us to safety." Marcus stood before the memorial with tears streaming down his face. Beside him stood Zrask, Thela, and Corinne. They were instructors now, too. They taught alongside Marcus. They helped spread his message. Zrask said, "We would not be here without you." Marcus shook his head. He said, "No, we would not be here without them." He pointed to the names on the wall. He said, "They paid the price. They showed us the cost of broken rules. All I did was make sure their lesson was not forgotten." That evening, Marcus sat alone in his quarters. He looked at his right arm. The warrior tattoo was still there, but it was different now. After the radiation exposure, it never glowed again. The biotechnology was destroyed. It was just a normal tattoo now, just ink on skin. But Marcus did not mind. He did not need the technology anymore. The real power was never in the tattoo. The real power was in the knowledge, the discipline, the commitment to protect others by following the rules. He thought about his life, about the Krell War, about his fallen friends, about the station explosion, about the thousands of cadets he taught. He realized something important. His friends did not die for nothing. Their sacrifice created ripples that spread across the entire galaxy. Every cadet who followed protocol, every life saved by proper procedure, every disaster avoided by careful discipline, all of it traced back to those 22 soldiers. They died so others could live, and now their legacy would last forever. The next morning, Marcus taught his first class of the new semester. 30 young cadets sat before him. They came from 15 different alien species. None of them were human, but all of them wore the cloth armbands on their right arms. The armbands that said rules are written in blood. Marcus smiled. He said, "Welcome to Advanced Protocol Studies. I am Instructor Marcus Chun. Before we begin, I want to tell you a story. It is a story about 40 soldiers who made a promise to follow every rule no matter what. A promise written in blood and sacrifice and love." The cadets leaned forward. Their eyes were wide. They were ready to learn. Marcus began speaking. He told them about the Krell War, about Protocol Unit 7, about the 22 who died, about the station explosion, about why humans follow rules with such devotion. As he spoke, his voice was strong and clear. This was his purpose. This was why he survived. Not to be a hero, not to win medals, but to teach, to pass on the lessons bought with blood, to make sure no one else paid the price his friends paid.